My name's Roger. 49 years ago, I was adopted at birth. And a few weeks ago, I spoke about being creative, getting still and being creative, blocking out the noise and finding that thing in you, finding the real you. And I want you to know, like, there are people who are currently around you waiting for that, waiting for you to become you. And I'm not just talking, like, it's real. I'm gonna tell you this story, and it's about me, but it's really about you. I was in Greece 2 years ago, and we went with a group of 40 plus people, and we had a good time. Greece is a beautiful place to visit. If you get the opportunity, you should go, and the food is delicious. It's really good. I don't even know half the stuff I was eating because I couldn't pronounce it, but it was really good. So we're there. It's about 40 plus people, and we're touring this one area. And there's a person by the name of Mary who it was really hot that day, so she was sitting down because she was a little overheated, and so was I. So I was sitting near her, and there was a couple of other people there too. And we just get to talking. I come to find out she's a retired teacher. She used to teach at at a school where my son currently attends. And so we had a good conversation. And so we're there 10 days. And that might be the only conversation I had with Mary, maybe high and by, but there's so many people and we're doing so many things that, I didn't get a chance to have another conversation with her. So then that was in the summer, come back, everybody that was on the trip, you start to become Facebook friends, you share pictures and stuff like that. So a few months later, I put out my first video about being adopted. And like I mentioned previously, it was really scary for me to start talking about that. But I recognized that it could help kids or other people who dealt with rejection, abandonment feelings, and all those kinds of things. So I just started sharing. And Mary reaches out to me on Facebook, and she says, man, this is wild. Like I knew there was something about you. I would love to sit down and talk. She's one of the founders of Fostering Hope, which is an organization that helps pre and post adoption and also kids experiencing the foster care system. And so Mary and I go to breakfast. I say yes, we go to breakfast, and we start at breakfast, and our breakfast ended at lunch. So we were there multiple hours. I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, and we had a great conversation. And during that conversation, I showed her something that I had been writing, and I had started to write about Simply Sam. And I think I mentioned last time, Simply Sam came from me waking up at 4 or something in the morning with this idea of Simply Sam in my head, and I just started to write it down, and I started to write it out. And then from there, I just, kept writing. And I showed it to Mary. She thought it was awesome. And then for the next few months, I was continuing to write, and I would send them to Mary, and she would give her feedback. And then she had mentioned that she had a friend who was a published author, and she wanted to connect us. And I was like, cool, that would be great. And that took some time. Eventually, we went out to breakfast, and it was me, Mary, and her friend's name is Jen. And as we sat there, we talked some. We talked about adoption and the foster care system, and multiple things. Then eventually, I showed Jen one of the things that I had written about Simply Sam, and she thought it was she thought it was pretty good. And I was like, wow, I was amazed. And she was like, yeah, I would love to help illustrate this. And I was like, wow. And then she was like, I also have a few friends who do who could help kind of with the editing. And she introduces me to Vanessa. And so then I send my work to Vanessa, and Vanessa goes through my work, and she critiques it, and she gives compliments, and then she tells me on ways that I can improve. And so then and I take the suggestions and I work through them. And at first I was scared of the suggestions just because, from experiences, I had a fifth grade teacher who loved to mark everything in red pen, and it was horrible, Mrs. Clayton. And I, I just didn't enjoy that class. But Vanessa wasn't like that. She was really cool. She's really cool to work with. I'm still working with her. So I just sent like second draft of stuff maybe like last week. And it's amazing how all of that came together. And when I say that I'm telling you a story about me and I'm talking about you, it's because if you search for that thing and you start to walk towards that thing, things begin to align for you. I had no idea who Mary was when I was in Greece. That was the first time I ever met her. And it just so happens that she's the founder of Fostering Hope. And it just so happens that one of her best friends is a published author who also has a connection to adoption and foster care. And it just so happens that somebody that's really close to her is an editor too. And all of these things came together because I put out that first video that I was scared to do. And I did it because it was on my heart. I was thinking about, I've shared before about one of my son who is 11, one of his friends from his football team who's adopted. And I wanted to help. And so then the creative writing part came out, 4 something in the morning. And it all stems from me wanting to help. And the creative part starts to come out. And as the creative part starts to come out, people that were already around me are able to help me. And the same thing is for you. Like I think I mentioned I'm from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, and one of the best ways to make money in Coatesville, not one of the best ways, a way to make money in Coatesville is to sell drugs, right? I know a lot of drug dealers. And what I've noticed about that industry is no one retires. I have a friend. His name is Will Swaggart. His dad is Mr. Swaggart. And if you're familiar with Coastal basketball, Mr. Swaggart's the scorekeeper. He's been that for forever. And he's an entrepreneur. He retired about 9-10 years ago. And I was at his retirement party. We had a cookout for him at his new place. And it was great. And I've known Mr. Swaggart since I was in elementary school. And Mr. Swaggart has been a great influence on me. He probably has no idea. It's the first time I'm saying this. I'm a small business owner, and I remember things that I would see Mr. Swaggart do that I do to this day. We would go into, like, to see a basketball game, or we would go anywhere, really, a restaurant, and I'm with Mr. Swaggart and Will, and Mr. Swaggart talked to everybody. And Mr. Swaggart was friendly with everybody. And it wasn't him being fake, that's who he was. Like, he was like that when we were out in public, and then even when we would be like at his house, that's how Mr. Swaggart was. And so what I took from him and what I have taken from him is just that thing where you just talk to everybody and you're friendly with everybody. And it helps you in business to be that way. It's customer service. But I saw Mr. Swaggart retire. And I took my kids to a Coastal basketball game last year, and I saw Mr. Swaggart at the scores table, right, doing the book, like he always does. And I say that because he was an influence on my life, and so were the drug dealers. And I never seen any of them retire. And it allowed me to see 2 different roads, possibilities, right? And Mr. Swaggart, the entrepreneur, retired. The drug dealers I know, none of them have retired. And that lifestyle seems so great until you really look at it. Really look at it. So this is why I'm telling you, instead of copying how to be a drug dealer, get still, get quiet, get creative. And as you become creative, things begin to align for you. Doesn't mean it's going to be peaches and cream and everything's going to go smooth. That's not what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying to you is, if you get creative, You start to become you, things start to align for you, regardless of where you are. Regardless of where you are. I don't care if you're like me, a kid on Valley Road where I'm sleeping in my grandma's attic and in the summer it's hot and it's uncomfortable and it was difficult at times. I don't care if you're that, or I don't care if you're living in a mansion. Doesn't matter. Finding you is important. Creating what you see inside is important. And it amazes me because the thing that creative part that came out of me that is now on paper, had the people that I've let read it is it has affected them. And I've gotten multiple people say, "Man, when are you coming out with that? When are you coming out with that?" I'm like, "It's a process. I wish it was out tomorrow, but it won't be. It's a process." But allow yourself to be creative. Allow yourself to be more than what you see outside. What you see outside, that's for them. They're allowed to do that. You're also allowed to be who you want to be. And you don't have to copy the crowd. You don't have to be like anybody else. I had conversations and people ask me, how did I not get into some of the stuff that I saw when I was a kid? I decided inside that I didn't want to do that. And I can tell you seeing Mr. Swaggart helped. And I can tell you also seeing the drug dealers help too, because I saw that nobody retired. I saw people get arrested, go away, come back, make a bunch of money, get arrested, lawyer fees, come back broke. I saw it over and over and over and over and over. And it didn't matter who it was. I saw it happen over and over and over. And it was as if they were following the same pattern. Well, what if you broke that pattern? What if you really became creative and started doing what's inside of you and things really start lining up for you? Wouldn't that be amazing? And I'm telling you this because it's happening to me. If it's happening for me, it can happen for you. Get creative.